Hey, how's it going? Welcome back. I hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year's. I'm back to work tomorrow, so party's over. Figured the first video of 2022 might as well be the 2022 vinyl tag. Apparently there's two versions of this floating around, so I'm just doing the one that I've seen the most, which apparently is the Rob Walker edition. Yeah, so there's 22 questions. I'm gonna do it. Number 1, favorite album purchased in 2021. I'm going with this 12-inch Sodom, In the Sign of Evil. Now, I've had this for years. I have a metal blade pressing. But this is the first German pressing on Devil's Game Records, which I have never actually seen before, so I immediately snapped it up. Yeah, super influential, fantastic, German thrash. I don't think I really need to talk a whole lot about Sodom, but pretty happy to have this. Honorable mentions will go to the copy of Blood Feast, Kill for Pleasure that I came across, which is a fantastic record, and I found 2 copies of Slaughter's Nocturnal Hell 7-inch, which is pretty cool as well. Number 2, album by first person you saw live. Well, I'm going with first band. I was probably like 10 or 12, maybe. My aunt's boyfriend played in a bar rock band called Fur, Face, and the Spectacles. And they were playing it was like a camping weekend, a camping get drunk weekend. And they had like an outdoor stage and all that. So I ended up going with them. And I remember watching this skinny little guy rolling around on the stage acting a fool. And it turned out it was Frankie Venom from Teenage Head. So here's the Frantic City LP from 1980. One of the first, if not the first, punk band from Ontario, out of Hamilton, Ontario. I think Simply Saucer, also from Hamilton, probably did predate them, but super early punk from here in Ontario. 3, album by a duo. I don't have many albums by duos, but I do have albums by Mojo, Nixon, and Skid Roper. Hilarious couple of people. Mojo Nixon is kind of like a, George Thorogood if he were less drunk and more funny. The Skid Roper, he don't say much. He just strums a washboard and stuff like that. Elvis is everywhere. It's fantastic. But yeah, Mojo Nixon and Skid Roper. 4, album in the shrink. I don't make a habit of keeping records in the shrink. I take them right out usually. I don't fetishize it at all. I know some people do. But here's one that I already have a copy that isn't in the shrink. And I also have a copy that is. It's Party of Two by the Rubinoos. Pretty well known San Francisco power pop band with a heavy dose of AOR in there. They seem to make their way onto a lot of movie soundtracks and whatnot. I believe they sued Avril Lavigne over a song that she stole from them, and she claimed ignorance, but this song did sound exactly like theirs. But yeah, the Rubinoos. 5, concept album. I also do not own many concept albums. This one here is kind of a no-brainer. King Diamond, Them. This is a 1988 Canadian pressing. King Diamond needs 0 explanation, so there it is. 6, album you've not played yet. Yeah, here's one. It's a Radiation Records reissue of Anti, Defy the System. Now, I've heard this before, through MP3s and whatnot, but I haven't actually listened to this copy yet. I believe they're from Los Angeles. It's from 1983. Just, Los Angeles hardcore from the time period. Kind of reminds me of really, really early Bad Religion before they got the 3-part harmonies and shit. But it's really good. I just haven't got around to listening to it. Artist, number 7, artist you've discovered in 2021. I had heard about this band mostly because people wanted to order their records and they either couldn't find them or they were too expensive to order from overseas. And then an opportunity presented itself where I had 2 of them that I could get here in Canada. And I did. So there's Eternal Champion. There's the Ravening Iron LP. I also got the Armor of Ire at the same time. I believe they're from Texas. They're just a really good heavy metal band. They've got a lot of praise from people, and then, you know, a lot of frustration over the ordering issues and whatnot. But yeah, pretty good. I just never bothered even trying to grab any of their stuff until 2021, and now I have it. 8, a live album. All right. Razor, live, Osaka, Saikou. Is it Saikou? Yeah. It's on High Roller Records. Razor, pretty well known, you know, like Ontario thrash metal, most of them from Guelph. Singer Bob, he's from London. His first band, SFH, just got their one demo reissued on vinyl by Urbane Grandeur. So that's SFH, the Cold Death demo. I suggest you get that if you like Razor. 9, album from a different continent. All right, well, the label is British. What do they call Misaku Unojo? Yeah, Misaku Unojo, but it's from England. And the band, Faceless Burial, is from Australia. So I got, I guess, 2 continents covered there. This is the Speciation LP. I think it came out either 2020 or 2021. This is great Australian grindcore, a lot like Internal Rot. They share the same drummer, as a matter of fact, Max. But yeah, good grindcore with a heavy death metal leaning. 10, album with a price sticker on the jacket. Now, price stickers drive me nuts, and I instantly break out the Goo Gone when I find one. So I don't actually have any LPs with a price sticker on them, but I did just buy a 7-inch that has a price sticker on it. That being Abrasive Wheels, Vicious Circle EP. Great, you know, UK 82 punk rock. Melodic, got buzzsaw guitars. Always loved this band. Never owned any of their 7-inches. Saw this one and picked it up. There's a price tag here for $1.87. I wish I paid that for it, but I did not. But yeah, Abrasive Wheels. 11, punk or new wave album. I went with Talks Cheap by the Demics. This is probably the biggest band to ever come out of my geographic area. They're from London, Ontario. It's from 1979. It's a 12-inch. Great, you know, just old school punk band, gravelly vocals. They were super popular here back in the day. Yeah, I think people would really like this from outside of this area. So if you ever get a chance, check out the Demics. 12, a box set. I don't have many box sets, but I do have the Insect Warfare Entomological Siege 2004 to 2009 box set. It's 3 LPs and a DVD in here. Like, out of this world, Texas grindcore, you know, picking up where, like, From Enslavement to Obliteration left off. Such a good band. But, yeah, FOAD put this thing out, and I'm pretty glad they did, even though it cost me a mittful. Album with a sporting theme. Out of all the questions, this was probably the most difficult. Like, I don't collect sports memorabilia. Sports, you know, there is no interest in sports that is to be had, you know, from me. Unless it's that thing in England where they roll the cheese down the hill and people kill themselves trying to get it. Or the Estonian wife-carrying races. It's pretty interesting. But other than that, sports can suck it. But I did happen to have this. Chillin' with the Refrigerator by the Fat Boys. A lot of you younger folks might not know who William Refrigerator Perry, you know, is or was. He was a big deal for about 15 seconds. You know, he kind of had that Shaq thing going on, but it didn't last nearly as long. But, you know, apparently he was big enough for the Fat Boys to want to hook up with him and do some of this stuff. But, yeah, there you go. Jazz album. I don't have many jazz records. I mean, I think I have a fair amount of them, but not anything that I really like. It's just ones that happen to have covers that entertain me, so I bought them. So I had to wade into the punishment section to find this one. And yeah, it's Salt Peanuts by Supersax. Ridiculous. Oh, it's kind of, yeah, definitely not my thing, but I love that cover. Best of album. Don't have many of those either, because most bands that I listen to just don't last long enough to have a best of anything. But I do have the Best of Love. It's a, you know, hippie era band from San Francisco, led by Arthur Lee. They did the original version of 7 and 7 Is, which Alice Cooper later recorded and made kind of popular. But yeah, pretty good band. Kind of psychedelic, kind of, you know, just rock and roll, even a little hard rock in there. But yeah, no problems with them, but Best of Love. 16. Album with at least 8 people on the jacket. I got the self-titled 2009 LP from the Spitz. Fantastic punk, new wavy, synth, obnoxious band. I mean, if you haven't heard the Spitz, you should probably do yourself a favor, if you're into punk anyways. But yeah, there's definitely more than 8 people on that jacket. I'm supposed to go see these guys in February, so let's hope these restrictions ease up, or that it's not, you know, outlawed by the time that rolls around. 17. Soundtrack. Here's the soundtrack to a Colombian film. Rodrigo D, No Futuro. It's one of those, like, bored teenagers getting up to no good in the neighborhood movies, except it's set in, like, you know, Medellin, Colombia. And it has, like, a, you know, a prevalent, you know, hardcore and punk rock overtone to it. Soundtrack's all, like, Colombian hardcore bands. It's good stuff. The movie is on YouTube, but it's all in, I guess, what do they speak, Spanish there? It's all in Spanish, and I can't understand a lick. Wish it was subtitled, but it's a great record. 18, Show Some VCLT. This is something that I got from Pat over at Ground Zero Salem. It's a band called Chaos Echoes. It's called A Voiceless Ritual. It's a band from France. Mostly kind of a doom metal thing, but there is some black metal to it as well. It's pretty interesting. It's one of those kind of things I put it on when I'm doing the dishes, so it's like background soundscapey noise. Yeah, it's good shit. Thanks, Pat. Thanks again. 19, an album with no writing on the jacket. This was kind of tough too. Got a band here. Members split their time up between Providence, Rhode Island, and Philadelphia. It's a band called Latishia's Skull Drawing. It's on Iron Lung Records, 12-inch. Yeah, absolutely no words on there. At least one of these people used to play in Cult Ritual, that were a band from Florida that played some kind of really chaotic, screamy hardcore. This band is along the same lines. It's not too far removed from that. It's pretty good. Latishia's Skull Drawing. A little wacky name. A 7-inch single. All right. I'm going for one from 1979. Some British punk. It's the Sods. No Pictures. Backed with Plaything. It's on Stort Beat Records. This is great. It's kind of like the Sex Pistols mixed with the Stranglers. Like the vocalist reminds me a lot of Johnny Rotten, and there's, you know, keyboards going in the back. So yeah, that's a obvious comparison. This record has the distinction of being the one that I've been offered stuff for the most. People seem to really want this one, and I seem to really not want to get rid of it. Number 21, colored vinyl album. Tons of those around. I'm going with this from the last. It's a Japanese masterpiece from the last few years. It's Rocky and the Sweden. City Baby Attacked by Buds. This is a second pressing of it. The first pressing came out and, like, you know, sold out in about 4 seconds, and people were all pissed off. It took forever to get the reissue out, but I ended up getting one. There's pictures and words. you know. But the whole part of the question, is it a colored vinyl? And it most certainly is. It's an ugly pea soup, greeny, yellow, I just threw up bananas color. So yeah, it's all right. Interesting. I really don't care about colored vinyl, but since they asked. And the last question, number 22, an album from 1982. Well, we got a pretty popular punk band here. Probably needs no explanation, but GBH, or more formally, Charged GBH. Leather Bristles, No Survivors, and Sick Boys. Like I said, pretty well known, kind of an entrance level punk band nowadays. Also having the distinction of being the first punk band that I ever saw that was from overseas. I saw them way back when with a local band called Condo Christ in Hamilton at a place called the Rock Pile. And Agnostic Front was supposed to play as well, and they could not get across the border. So we burned. But whatever. That's it for the vinyl tag. Had quite a few new subscribers over the course of this year, and I want to thank all of you. Hopefully you like what I'm doing. I will try to do more videos this year. I guess I always say I'm going to try to do more videos, but sometimes I'm just not feeling it. I've also got a bunch of stuff, like I get extra stuff from local bands and local labels and stuff like that. So I'll probably do a bunch more just, out of the blue giveaways, maybe, just to free up some space here and spread the good gospel around. So, anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.